The combat sports world is exploding with drama and massive updates. We are tracking the fallout of the war of words between Eddie Hearn and Dana White. Hearn is calling out the UFC CEO for backing down from their proposed boxing match, labeling him an old pussy for retreating from the spotlight after initially calling for the fight himself.
Never run out of battery again with the INIU portable charger, the slimmest 10,000 milliamp hour power bank that keeps your devices charged on the go. Stay powered up wherever you go. Click the link in the video description to shop now on Amazon.
Meanwhile, the anticipation is building for the highly touted arrival of Olympic gold medalist Gable Steveson. Dana White is currently scouting for the perfect debut opponent for Steveson at UFC 329, ensuring the wrestling sensation does not get thrown into the deep end too quickly during his first walk to the octagon. The heavyweight division is buzzing as Steveson continues his high-level preparation for his professional debut. Training alongside the legendary Jon Jones, he is sharpening his skills for what he promises will be the biggest debut on Earth, leaving everyone wondering exactly who will step up to test him on the biggest stage of all. Finally, the comeback we have all been waiting for might finally be on the horizon. Dana White has sounded a rare note of optimism regarding the ongoing negotiations for the return of Conor McGregor, signaling that progress is finally being made. We will keep you updated as this story develops, so make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell for all the latest fight news. Ever wonder what happens when two of the most powerful egos in combat sports collide? We're talking about a war of words that's turned into a full-blown spectacle, Dana White versus Eddie Hearn. What started as a weird, semi-joking feud has evolved into a bitter standoff, with both promoters trading insults that would make a sailor blush. The big question on everyone's mind was, would they actually lace up the gloves? Well, it looks like we have our answer, and spoiler alert, it's a massive letdown. Dana White, who originally flirted with the idea of a boxing match, has officially pumped the brakes. During a post-fight press conference in Winnipeg, Dana didn't mince words, calling the whole prospect of a promoter versus promoter fight dumb. He basically laughed off the idea, claiming that two promoters stepping into the ring is part of what's wrong with boxing, labeling himself and Hearn as bums who have no business sharing a card with real fighters. It's classic Dana, dismissive, sharp, and totally unwilling to play along with the circus. But Eddie Hearn? He wasn't about to let that slide. He fired back almost immediately, turning the volume up to 11. Hearn called out the irony of the situation, noting that Dana was the one who initiated the challenge in the first place. He didn't hold back, calling Dana an old P*SSY for backing out once things got real. Hearn is convinced this would be a massive, stadium-selling event, and he's painting Dana as the sole reason it's falling apart. Beneath all the name-calling, there's actually a deeper, pettier narrative here. These two have been trading jabs for months, from poaching fighters like Conor Ben and Tom Aspinall to tearing down each other's business models. It's a turf war masquerading as a grudge match, and it's honestly captivating to watch. So, is this just a case of two promoters playing mind games for headlines, or is there genuine heat behind the posturing? Let me know in the comments. Who do you think would actually take the W if they stepped into that ring? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this bitter rivalry, because one thing is for sure, this drama isn't going away anytime soon. Can an Olympic gold medalist truly conquer the octagon, or will the legendary UFC pressure turn his debut into a cautionary tale? Gable Steveson is officially heading to the big show for UFC 329 this July, but Dana White is playing it cool, refusing to rush the phenom into the Shark Tank just yet. We are talking about a guy with immense raw talent and a golden pedigree, yet White is being remarkably cautious, drawing comparisons to the CM Punk experiment, though hopefully with a much higher ceiling. Dana hit the nail on the head when he reminded us that those UFC jitters are real. It doesn't matter if you have stood on an Olympic podium, the bright lights of Vegas and the caliber of an octagon opponent are a completely different animal. Watching Steveson sharpen his tools alongside the greatest of all time, Jon Jones, suggests he is taking this transition seriously, but finding that perfect, Goldilocks opponent, someone tough enough to test him, but not so elite that it breaks his confidence, is a masterclass in matchmaking. It is a high-stakes chess match, and we are just waiting for the first move. Do you think Steveson should take a risk against a ranked contender, or is White smart to ease him in? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to keep up with all the latest fight news. At the end of the day, potential is just a word until the cage door locks and you have to prove it for real. Ever wondered how an Olympic gold medalist transitions to the pressure cooker of the octagon? The hype surrounding Gable Steveson is reaching a fever pitch as we gear up for UFC 329, but there is one massive question mark hanging over his debut. Exactly who is going to test him? Steveson is promising the biggest debut on the planet, but Dana White is playing it cool. At the recent UFC Fight Night post-fight presser, White made it clear that he is not interested in rushing the 25-year-old phenom into a shark tank. He dropped a heavy truth bomb, reminding us all that the UFC jitters are a very real phenomenon that levels even the most decorated athletes. It is a smart move by the boss. Why burn a prospect by throwing them to the wolves before they have even felt the lights of Vegas? Steveson is currently sharpening his iron by training alongside the GOAT himself, John Jones, which is a massive signal of intent. While we don't have a name yet, one thing is certain. The matchmakers are looking for the perfect calibration, not a sacrificial lamb. Whether he faces a veteran or another rising prospect, the goal is to see exactly what he is capable of when the cage door locks. What do you think? Should the UFC throw Steveson straight into the deep end, or is this slow burn approach the right way to build a future champion? Drop a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe so you don't miss our breakdown once the opponent is officially announced. At the end of the day, potential is one thing, but in the UFC, you are only as good as the man standing across from you. Is the king of combat sports finally returning to the throne? For months, the status of Conor McGregor's UFC future has been a game of professional guessing, but Dana White just dropped the biggest glimmer of hope we have seen in a long time. Following UFC Winnipeg, White signaled a major shift in momentum, telling reporters that negotiations are actually trending in the right direction. This is a massive turnaround from just a week ago, when White was brushing off questions with the usual same old rhetoric. We have been stuck in a deadlock over the financial fine print, specifically how the UFC's new pay structure meshes with a superstar of Conor's magnitude, but it sounds like the finish line is finally coming into view. Think about the stakes here. McGregor has not stepped into the octagon in 5 years. He has spent the last year largely out of the limelight, focusing on personal health and clearing the legal decks, including that high-profile dispute with Artem Lobov. Now, the rumors are swirling around UFC 329 this July for International Fight Week, and the name on everyone's lips remains Max Holloway. A rematch against Blessed would be a blockbuster, but we are officially running out of runway to make it happen. McGregor is looking to bounce back from that brutal string of losses and a horrific injury, and while we have been burned by he said, she said before, this feels different. If this fight gets booked, it isn't just a comeback. It is the biggest event in the history of the promotion. But what do you think? Is Conor still the same fighter he was, or has the game passed him by? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss the official announcement when it finally drops. Because in the fight game, as we have learned, nothing is official until the ink is dry.